we had 22 patients this weekend that we administered Narcan and naloxone to. 20 of them were resuscitated or revived. We had 2 that were deceased, and that was turned over to law enforcement for investigation and dealt with through the coroner.
Another thing that I've heard from several people is the stimulus checks. That's been a little bit of a problem because people that are, in very early recovery or maybe in active addiction that are really struggling right now with their addiction are getting, large amounts of money. And they're adults. So there's really very little resources for people to keep that money from them. And so all of a sudden they're in a situation where they have a lot of money and they might be able to use that in a way that's not to their benefit.
For these people, there's not as many people out. They're probably maybe out of work. They've been laid off. Oh, wait, now I did get a stimulus check, so I got a little cash, so I maybe can go out and buy me some drugs with it. And I'm just forecasting. I'm looking in the Don Webster crystal ball over here, but like I said, this is 2 weekends that we have seen this major spike. But yeah, I think people will get cooped up and are trying to social distance, or there's nobody else out to play with or run around with, and they get depression, or they're home with the kids, or whatever the case. Yeah. Life has changed for us all, and I think it can play tricks on our mind and maybe put us in states that are not so happy places.
In the past, we would have, encouraged people to go to live face-to-face types of activities, whether that's through faith-based programs or 12-step programs or whatever, whatever pathway they found to their recovery. But it's all really changed right now. And even though the pathways are still the same, how you access that information has changed a lot. Of course, most of it is virtual now. The good news is that recovery community has really stepped up, and there is a lot of virtual support communities out there. So there's a number of different places that they can find that. We have a resource listed on our website that is all about COVID related resources, and there's a number of links to different programs and things like that on there. But many websites are out there that can help connect people to virtual online types of communities. I think one of the cool things that's come about from that is that in the past, you were pretty limited to your local communities, which is huge. I mean, you need your local community. You need those people that are right here living in your own cities to be there for you. But one of the things that it's opened up, I think, for a lot of people is you can now go and get on virtual meetings almost anywhere. You could go to another country. You could go participate in a meeting in California from your desk in Alabama. And it's not that those things were not there before, but I think people are more inclined now to go explore and see what things are out there. And so, the positive that's come is that, but the negative is that as good as those are, it's not a replacement for face-to-face conversations, sitting down with a cup of coffee and discussing the things that are going on in your life with somebody. So it's been really, really difficult on that recovery community.
People are dying from this, and it's a needless death that has really got to stop. And there's plenty of help out there, with Wellstone mental health. I mean, it kind of where's the fine line that divides it between this as a mental health issue or a drug abuse issue? I say they intertwine with each other. I have depression, I have anxiety, I have anger, and, I want to get high because it makes it all go away. And so there's plenty of agencies out there. Partnership for Drug Free now is seeing patients and taking patients in and doing assessments on them and getting them help immediately. It's not one of these like it used to be that you call for help and you wait and they say, okay, we'll get to you next week, a week from tomorrow. They're getting help right now, right when you make that phone call, the wheels start turning. So there is help for people that are having this problem.
My go-to thing is connection. But one of the big enemies of addiction is isolation. And so finding that connection, wherever that is, however that is really important. And that's not just for the people that are struggling with their own addiction, but for the families as well, that they don't need to be suffering in silence. There's lots of resources out there right now for families that they can access. And a healthy family is only going to help to support that person who is struggling with their addiction or is in early recovery. That is one of the biggest things that could make a difference. And so a family going out there and finding that support for them. We have trained parent coaches with Not One More Alabama. We do every Sunday afternoon a live coffee with a coach. So if a family member is like, you know what, I'm really struggling. My son moved home. He was in a sober living program, and now he's moved home, and we're really struggling with boundaries and what that looks like. And I'm anxious because they're going out, and I don't know where they're going, and then they're coming back. Those would be really good topics to talk to another parent who has been there before and had that kind of experience. So coffee with a coach is a great way to get support. We work with the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, and they have a helpline where you can speak to a trained clinician. And then they also have a parent coaching program, and you can be assigned a parent coach that can kind of hold your hand and just walk through different things. So families getting healthy, families working on their side of the recovery as well is one of the best things that you can do for that person who is struggling.